Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Welcome to my new background. Congratulations on surviving, and congratulations to Team Canada for winning the World Juniors tournament. The NFL season is coming to a close, and that means that many unsuccessful head coaches will be fired at the end of the season. So today I'm going to rank the top 10 head coaching candidates for the teams, such as the Broncos, Colts, Panthers, and possibly others that will be looking for a new head coach. Kellen Moore is the Cowboys' offensive coordinator, and the Cowboys' offense has been very good for multiple years now, and Kellen Moore has been in charge of that. He was the offensive coordinator under Jason Garrett, where they were perpetually mediocre, but then the Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy, who kept Kellen Moore, and the offense has started to prosper quite a bit. They have been very, very good, and Kellen Moore definitely deserves a shot at a head coaching gig. The biggest thing going for Kellen Moore is that people really want young offensive minds right now. After Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay had so much success, people hired Matt LaFleur and then Zach Taylor, Kevin O'Connell, Brandon Staley, he's a defensive coach, but still same gist, Mike McDaniel in Miami. They are hiring young, offensive-minded head coaches because that's what people want. They're energetic. They're with the team. And teams are liking that right now. And Kellen Moore is exactly that. He's 34 years old and a brilliant offensive mind. The one knock on Moore is that he's 34 years old. A lot of teams like that, but do you really want someone that young? People like them in their 40s, but 30s, I know Sean McVay has had success, but aside from that, when you're in your early 30s, you're normally not the best fit for a head coaching job. Also, the Cowboys' offense has been good, but you can also see errors from time to time. Dak Prescott has been throwing quite a few interceptions lately. CeeDee Lamb's been a pretty good receiver, but he's not the best in the league like Justin Jefferson or Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs. Both running backs are really good, but again, same thing. You're not coaching anyone right now that's the best in the league. This is Ken Dorsey's first year as the Bills' offensive coordinator. Before this, he was Josh Allen's quarterback coach and helped develop Josh Allen into a superstar. Most people need at least 2 years as a coordinator, but when you're coaching this amazing Bills team, then you can get a shot at a head coaching job after only 1 year as an offensive coordinator. The one problem is I don't love Ken Dorsey, I'll be honest. He seems to get angry quite a bit, but that's not the biggest knock on him. Josh Allen has made quite a few errors recently. He throws a lot of interceptions. Definitely compensates for that by going after and just full-on winning the game single-handedly with the help of Stephon Diggs. But he still seems to create some large errors from time to time. And the running game has been very, very slow in Buffalo. They have done nothing this year. That is not entirely on Dorsey, but I still think that there are better candidates out there, better, more experienced people coaching quarterbacks that do not make mistakes, interceptions, like Josh Allen does quite a bit. Shane Steichen is the Eagles' offensive coordinator, and the Eagles' offense has been lighting it up this year. Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate. A.J. Brown is a top 5 receiver. Miles Sanders has revived his career and is easily a top 15 running back this year. This offense has been good. The offensive line is lights out, although offensive coordinators don't coach the offensive line as much. But my point being, this Eagles offense has been good. It all started for Shane Steichen when he coached Justin Herbert to the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. From there, he was let go because Anthony Lynn was let go and Brandon Staley wanted to bring in his own new staff. So then he joined Nick Sirianni, rookie head coach's new Eagles team. And from there, he has done well. He has coached Jalen Hurts to the playoffs the first time, 9-8. They were fine. Jalen Hurts was showing promise, but they weren't amazing. But then this year, they absolutely lit it up. The Eagles' offense has been amazing, and you can attribute some of that to Shane Steichen for sure. And I think he is definitely on the radar of multiple teams because of how well he's been doing as of recent. He's also a young offensive mind, what teams want, so he fits all the bills. DeMeco Ryans is the relatively new defensive coordinator of the 49ers. He took over after Robert Saleh took over the head coaching gig of the New York Jets, which means that DeMeco Ryans was handed a superstar defense led by Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. And that defense has continued to do amazing, especially this year, where they are playing lights out. The 49ers are one of the best teams in the NFC, despite having the final pick in the draft, a Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, who has looked amazing, but that's beside my point, as their quarterback. It's the defense that is truly carrying this team. Brock Purdy has done really well, but it's the defense that is leading them to this 12-4 record right now. And that can be attributed to DeMeco Ryans, who has done great things since he has taken over this defensive coordinator gig. And I believe DeMeco Ryans has done quite a bit, definitely sufficient enough to prove that he deserves to be an NFL head coach. Leslie Frazier is the defensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills' defense has been very, very good these past couple of years. Led by Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, Von Miller, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. This defense, Ed Oliver, can't forget about him, AJ Epineza. This team is great. They have so many. Gregory Rousseau, Carlos Basham. This team has so many amazing defensive players. It's remarkable, honestly. And they keep drafting new ones. And Leslie Frazier has done a great job of coaching them and leading them to greatness. The Bills are my pick to win the Super Bowl as of right now. And if they win the Super Bowl, that gives Leslie Frazier even more credit. One problem is that Leslie Frazier was the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings before he joined this Buffalo Bills team. And he did not do so well. He was let go after a couple of seasons. So some teams may be slightly reluctant to give him another chance. Dan Quinn, the former Falcons head coach who led them to the Super Bowl, was hired after he coached the Legion of Boom, one of the best defenses of all time, I would argue, in the NFL. Now he is the Cowboys defensive coordinator, where he has continued to excel, with Micah Parsons being an absolute superstar, along with DeMarcus Lawrence reviving his career this year, Trayvon Diggs being one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and he keeps bringing up safeties from nowhere. Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Jaron Kearse. I didn't know of any of them a couple years ago, but all of them have turned into superstars under Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, I would argue, is the reason this Cowboys team is as good as it is. I don't think Mike McCarthy would be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys coming into next season if it weren't for Dan Quinn leading this team to so many wins. I believe that is the sole reason the Cowboys are good right now, is because of Dan Quinn's coaching. Don't get me wrong, he's got good players. They're not going to be the worst team in the league as long as they have Micah Parsons. But Dan Quinn is the one that developed Micah Parsons into a superstar in his rookie season. Which means that Dan Quinn definitely deserves another shot at a head coaching gig. The problem is, with both him and Leslie Frazier, is it's not exactly what teams seem to be looking for right now. As I mentioned, teams seem to want young offensive minds, young, energetic guys that will listen to the players. They're players' coaches. They're fun. You want to be around them. But Dan Quinn and Leslie Frazier are both older and defensive coaches. They're not going to do as many fun things with the quarterback. Like, not fun as in parties. Fun as in trying new things during the game. Trying to run it all the time. They're going to be a bit more strict. They might win the games, but players aren't going to like them quite as much. Might be great people. Players might love them. But at least at first glance, it doesn't seem like they would be the most loved head coach in the NFL or anything. They might have plenty of success with their teams, but people want young, energetic coaches right now, which means that Dan Quinn and Leslie Frazier could be out of luck. But, on the other hand, they may have done enough to prove that they deserve to be NFL head coaches. They don't care that people want young offensive coordinators. They are good coaches. Finally, I saved one of the best for second. I can't quite put him above the guy that I put above him, because the guy that I put above him is really, really, really good and proven. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But Eric Bieniemy is a superstar. He has coached Patrick Mahomes to an MVP award and potentially another this year. We all know what Patrick Mahomes has done in the last 5 years. He has been one of, if not the best quarterback in the league the whole time. Now, part of that's just Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, but it's Eric Bieniemy that is calling the plays for Patrick Mahomes, which means that Eric Bieniemy deserves a head coaching job. In fact, he deserved one multiple years ago, but for some reason, he has not been hired. I have no idea why. Maybe it's because he interviews terribly. Once they interview him, he might look great on paper, but once teams interview him, he just doesn't show anything. They don't want to hire him anymore. Whatever the reason, Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach. Many of the teams have already interviewed him that are looking for head coaches this year. So we will see. It's possible that another hiring cycle goes by without Eric Bieniemy being hired. But I think something tells me this is the year Eric Bieniemy becomes an NFL head coach. There's no one I can put above Sean Payton. The only way I could put someone above Sean Payton would be if Bill Belichick retired and decided to join a new team, in which case Bill Belichick would be above Sean Payton. But aside from that, that is why I put Bieniemy at second. Bieniemy's great. He would be first if it weren't for a superstar head coach in Sean Payton. Sean Payton was the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, and then he decided to retire. He led the Saints to many amazing seasons with Drew Brees. He won a Super Bowl with them. Sean Payton is the real deal. Sean Payton is proven. Sean Payton is amazing. Every team looking for a head coach is going to try their hardest to get Sean Payton. It's not who will hire Sean Payton. It's who will Sean Payton choose to join. Now, whoever he chooses to join will have to give the Saints quite a bit in return, because Sean Payton is still in their contract with the Saints because he retired. He did not get fired. But for now, there is still 1 week left of the NFL season, and then we will see which head coaches will be fired, aside from the Broncos, Panthers, and Colts, who've already fired their head coach. Thanks for watching.